think we know what the answer is. Oops.
I'm gonna turn the phone.
Alright, I'm about to go live too.
Are you going live in the group?
No, I'm
Are
going
you
in
there?
yeah.
I'm recording
I
it from my
think.
phone so I can put them in the group.
Wait, why can I not? My video. They're lawyers here.
That's what I am, yeah.
Kathy, can you tell Michael? Can you text Michael and say they're back? Because I can't come on the. George. Laramie. Not sure who the man behind Watts is. Maybe his lawyer. Discussion between Knudsen and Therese.
Why hasn't Adrian returned?
Looks little awkward. I don't know. Are they arguing or not? You think they're arguing or just?
Hmm?
Do you think they're arguing? No, they're not arguing. They're laughing.
They could be.
Where's she going?
Look at her.
What kind of mask is that? Okay, move closer. I'm gonna move over a minute.
You're fine. You're good.
Okay.
The board met in executive session earlier today to discuss the possible termination of the superintendent's contract for the board's convenience as set forth in Article 3E of the contract. At this time, I would call for a motion with regard to the superintendent's contract. Board members, do I have a motion?
Holly, it was about 45 minutes.
I make a motion that we terminate the superintendent's contract for board convenience as provided for in Article 3E of the contract and direct the board attorney to draft written notice to the superintendent as required by the contract.
I have a motion by board member Dr. Johnson Morgan. Is there a second?
I second.
Second made by Ms. Stone. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to address the board this morning. The timing for this decision is poor. We have gone through the entirety of data and metrics to view the performance of our 23-24 school year, and they were all trending in the right direction. I will say that until we achieve perfection, which we never will, we will continue to strive for that. We'll continue to strive for the success of each and every student of Gwinnett County Public Schools. But after withstanding a worldwide pandemic, withstanding a time where several years we could not pull data to really measure against, finally, last year, we had the data that we could begin to measure performance. From the moment we hired Dr. Watts, I have said he was not my perfect choice, and I have also criticized him publicly for some of the decisions that he's made. But at the end of the day, I have to look at the actions of the board and what does that do for the students of Gwinnett County. And one of the things I've realized in my 6 years of serving on the board is that, number one, we have probably the best staff in the nation in terms of serving our students. And number two, if we will let them use their expertise and their effort and their hard work and stay out of their way, they will achieve at a high level. We have the data around that. This is going to cost the district money that we could be putting into the classroom. We could wait till the fall and look at our metrics and see if last year was a flash in the pan. And are we, in fact, moving in the right direction? We might experience new success. We might experience that our data goes backwards. We might experience that it's a neutral outcome. And then as a board, we would have the ability to say, did Dr. Watts accomplish a transition that we were looking for and get us headed in the right direction, but maybe, he's a Brock Purdy and not a Patrick Mahomes, and we need to go find a Patrick Mahomes. And I say that as a 49er fan, and I love Brock Purdy, but the point is, he hasn't proven he can win the big game yet. I hope he can. But we're at a place, again, where we cannot make that decision based upon any metric that is out there for us to lean on. We have an opportunity to put the superintendent on notice, make him do some things over the next 6 months. We have an opportunity to hire an interim or appoint an interim. And then my question would be, well, we want to do that from inside because we want stability. And we don't want a lot of change. Well, if we don't want a lot of change, why are we firing the superintendent? And if we want a lot of change, then I know the people that I'm talking to that are telling me that change for the sake of change makes their job harder, therefore making our results poorer.
The only people telling
It just
me that
doesn't
is
make
the
sense.
chamber.
So I'm guessing from my comments, you can probably tell where I stand on the upcoming vote. I'm not opposed to change, but I'm opposed to change at this point in time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Knudsen. So this for me seems like deja vu all over again. 4 years ago to this month, sitting in this very building with a newly elected board coming in and removing a successful superintendent. Now, was he perfect? No, no one is. I'm not perfect. I'm certainly would never claim to be perfect. And there is always room for change and for growth. And I too am not opposed to change. But I also realize that this, in my opinion, is a gross misuse of our powers at this time to relieve Dr. Watts of duty. We're going to be back in this room in 19 days asking our taxpayers to allow us to opt out of HB 581. And this action today is going to cost us a lot of money. We have 3.5 months left in the school year,
Using my post.
and we have new data coming out. And we need to give the opportunity for that data to show us where we're going and let Dr. Watts finish the school year and see where we're at. Like I said, I'm not opposed to change, but at this time, this change is unwarranted. It's going to cost us money, and it's something the taxpayers do not want, especially since they are asking us for a deep audit of our books. This is, in my opinion, wrong, and both Ms. Stone and I sat in this building the last 2 days receiving Georgia School Board Association new board member training. We talked a lot about finances, and it is our job to be good stewards of tax dollars, and this, in my opinion, is not being good stewards of our tax dollars. There was a quote that was put up that I wrote down, which was very telling, and it reads, this was over the last 2 days, it read, "Excellence in the classroom begins with excellence in the boardroom." I feel we're not showing excellence right now, making this brass decision. We have an opportunity to do great things for our schools. We sat last night in the Teacher of the Year Awards banquet, and for me, it's probably it's been the highlight of my tenure so far, and I know it's going to be the highlight for as long as I'm a board member, to celebrate our teachers and the good work that they are doing and will continue to do. The feeling and the warmth in that room was just overwhelming and overpowering. And that is what we're here to do as board members, is to champion and support our teachers and our administrators. And making this move right now is not doing that. I personally too have heard from school leadership and the community. I see your emails to my school board. And Dr. Watts empowers the people that he hires to do great things. A leader should not micromanage. You should hire the people to do the job and entrust the people to do their job, and that is what I'm seeing is happening. So like Mr. Knudsen, you can probably imagine where my vote is going to go. And I appreciate the community that has spoken up and made their voice heard in this instance. I yield back the rest of my time.
Good morning. I understand that this is a sensitive issue, and I fully acknowledge the concerns and financial implications that come with it. I've been serving in education for over a decade, and I want you all to know, apart from what's going to be discussed today, but as an aside, I remain focused on championing the outcomes for not just District 1 students, but for all 182,000 plus GCPS students, ensuring that they are not only prepared for college or career, but also for life. And so I will continue to advocate for what's in the best interest of our students and our community, even when that path forward is challenging. Now, with regards to why we are here today, I just want to acknowledge that as both a former GCPS teacher, I have served under Superintendent Dr. Calvin Watt's leadership, and now as your District 1 representative on this governance team, I want to express my deep gratitude and his commitment to our staff, and his leadership has guided us through both challenging times, through the pandemic, and I know those decisions were not easy, they were hard, and there was a lot going on there. And so I commend you for your dedication to public education and moving this district forward during challenging times. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge, as Mr. Gasper pointed out, I am a brand new board member, and we did sit in new board member training for the past 2 days. And one of the things, and I mentioned this in my Teacher of the Year remarks yesterday, one of the schools I was inducted into the Izabindi streak, and Izabindi is Zulu for courage. And I want you all to know here today that it takes courage to sit here in this seat and make difficult decisions that affect the lives of our students, families, and staff. This was not an easy decision for me. It is something that kept me up, and I pondered for months. So this is not an easy decision. The responsibility we carry is not easy, but it's one we embrace for the betterment of our community. And so I'm excited about the direction that we're heading. This process marks an important opportunity to build upon the foundation that Dr. Watts has given or laid, and continue advancing the vision for our student success. And I just want to say I look forward to working together with this board and our stakeholders and our community as we move forward to support our students.
Thank you to our board for our discussions in executive session. This today and earlier this week. Thank you, Dr. Watts, for your service. And thank you to the people who came to witness our votes and hear our voices. Please understand that what we discuss in executive session is a personnel matter, and it is confidential. This recent decision that was made by the previous board to extend Dr. Watts' contract did not consider the voices of the newly elected board. It was financially irresponsible, and it seemed to be more about an individual than the collective. As a board member elected by the community of District 5, I stand with you, for you, by you, and I will fight for you, and I will fight for the rights for all of our children, regardless of where they live, or where they come from, or their background. I value truth, transparency, and authenticity. and I promise to share what I am lawfully allowed to share to keep our community informed. I encourage community members to get engaged as I am seeing people comment and show up. And this is great, but I have never or rarely seen many of you all before. I haven't seen you at our working sessions or at our board meetings. I encourage you all to please, if you cannot attend in person, because I understand people work and have busy lives and busy schedules, please watch the recordings of our working sessions. The business meetings capture our votes in public, but they do not share the intricacies and the nuances and the work of the board. The business meeting does not show how we ask questions. It does not show how we engage with one another as a board to try to understand the data and understand what we can do to support our school system. We are learning and we are growing as a board, and we will continue to do that. We ask questions at our working sessions, and these questions are depicted in our votes, and how they are answered are also depicted in our comments and our actions. Please listen to the sessions to get the transparency you need. Think critically about our school system, and also watch the working sessions to understand the information so that you can accurately hold the board members accountable. I believe in accountability, and I take responsibility for every decision I make. I too am not perfect, and I welcome the accountability. Reach out to your school board members via email, attend board meetings, speak with them before or after our sessions, go to community events, go to constituent meetings, go to community halls, provide public comment at our business meetings. There are so many ways for you all to respectfully engage with the board. There are so many opportunities for you all to review data, attend our working sessions, and just get context around situations. All of us, we are all accessible, right? We are all open to hearing from our community. So please engage with us. Read our posts. Get context around the situation. Watch the videos. And I personally have a monthly e-newsletter that I send for our District 5 community. I hold monthly in-person and virtual meetings. And I organize events in person and online. Please engage with what is going on so you can make informed opinions and hold your elected official accountable with truth, respectfully, and in love for the children, with their families, teachers, and ESPs. I remain committed to the success of our school system and meeting the needs of all students, including the most marginalized students experiencing poverty, language challenges, and students with special needs. I don't make backdoor deals. I don't engage in political games. I don't have a personal agenda that does not center the needs of children first. I do not put an individual over the collective. I hold accountable myself and others, regardless of race, gender, background, identity. I am also very conscious of the decisions coming out of the White House and how that is impacting community. So I want you all to know that although I am one of 5 board members, I will do all I can to ensure that each and every child knows that they belong and are safe. They are safe to be who they are and how they are. I have personally and professionally invested in education and social emotional well-being of our students, staff, and I will continue to do so. I will unapologetically and authentically have the audacity to ensure that each and every child will have the resources, access, and opportunities. No threats, no bullying, no defamation, no harassment will deter me from having a moral conscience to do what is right and what is just for all children. The time is always right to do what is right. And I stand strong like a tree rooted in the values of justice, equity, inclusion, and liberation. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here today
That's almost 8 minutes.
and for your engagement at the meeting earlier this week for those that came out. This week, the board made efforts to come to an agreement with Dr. Watts that were unsuccessful. While the community has asked us to provide a reason for terminating his contract, if the board votes to terminate his contract, it is not for cause. As board members, we are charged with establishing a vision for the school district and aligning the superintendency with that vision. Setting a vision entails looking forward, not behind. We've made and achieved some accomplishments with Dr. Watts, and we're not stopping there. We have more wins to go after. And the majority of the board decided that a new superintendent is needed to achieve those wins. So what I will share with the community today is the vision that the board has, the majority of the board has for GCPS. As a board, we aspire to improve outcomes for all students. That includes our most vulnerable communities. It is my aspiration that our search will yield a superintendent that brings a proven track record of enhancing educational outcomes, particularly for students from low-income communities, multilingual learners, and special education students. The board's majority vote will represent the pursuit of meeting the needs of these groups while sustaining and building on the success of all other learners. It is our desire that all GCPS students, regardless of economic status, language proficiency, religion, or zip code, feel seen, heard, and valued, and reach